Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
The Tragedy of Macbeth, new movie out now on Apple TV+. This is the first solo film written and directed by Joel Coen. I believe his wife, Frances McDormand, had probably her hands in it as well. There's a nice little featurette, like documentary featurette on the making of The Tragedy of Macbeth on Apple TV+. And I got to say, despite the fact that watching Shakespeare in film form, I've never watched a Shakespearean play. In class when I was in school, kids would read it. I never read it. It's for me, watching Shakespeare is very much like watching a foreign film where I know a couple words and catch a couple words here and there. I kind of get the idea of what's going on, but without any subtitles, I'm pretty lost as far as the dialogue goes. My brain doesn't seem to function at a capacity to comprehend the words of William Shakespeare. However, I did love this film. It's a short film. I think it's only an hour and 45 minutes or so. Yes, on the dot, 1:45. So a short film, under 2 hours, which is mind-blowing in the age of films that seem to be, especially dramatic films, that seem to be 2 hour plus, 2.5 hours, unless you're like Zack Snyder and you do a 3 hour, 4 hour version of a movie that nobody likes. But this one is beautiful. It is surreal. It is amazing in every way. It is a home run. It's one of those films where it feels like every aspect of it, despite the fact that I don't necessarily understand what's being said at all times. It's a film that really feels every aspect knocked it out of the park. It was a grand slam. The cinematography, the visuals of this movie are just gorgeous. It is black and white, every shot composed to perfection. I had no idea. Watching this movie feels like, it harkens back to classic black and white films, from the aspect ratio, which apparently is referred to as the Academy ratio, which is 1.375 to 1. It's a little bit wider than a 4:3, so it's not quite a square, but it's definitely going to give you bars on the left and right of your screen while you're watching it. So a little bit more compressed, which is very similar to older black and white films. Also, the set decoration feels very, early. It reminded me a lot. I tried to watch Bride of Frankenstein last October as one of my classic horror movie reviews. Didn't quite get through it, or wasn't really paying attention. So I never reviewed it. But has a similar kind of a set decoration where everything kind of feels like it's on a soundstage, which this one was filmed on a soundstage. But what I did not realize until watching the making of featurette is that so much of this movie is CG. Like, so much. Like, almost every single thing in this movie, aside from the actors, is CG. Even scenes where there are actual, like, physical structures that they're acting around, there are scenes where they paint shadows onto the set decoration. Because some of the light and shadows, the usage of that is great. It is so beautiful in this black and white movie. Acting, performances by not only Denzel Washington, but Frances McDormand are amazing. They are clearly two of the best actors to ever do it, and to have both of them in this film doing it in the acting sense of doing it, amazing. I wish, it makes me want to study Shakespeare on a very minute level. No, in the course of my 40 plus years of existence in this reality, I have never had the desire to ever study or get to understand, try to understand William Shakespeare. But this movie gives me a little bit, just a little bit of a desire to want to at least dig in a little bit more. I'm sure for people that have read and studied, and I'm sure especially performed, the words don't the words as they're spoken are almost secondary to the emotion and the thrust of the story as it's going. I loved it. Almost couldn't I was scared watching when I first started this movie. One, because I'm reviewing it. So somehow I'm going to have to talk about a movie where I don't really understand what they're saying. Although because of the acting, because of the directing, because it's like short and feels very minimal in a lot of ways. Everything aside from the language being used feels very minimal. It helped me guide me through the story, despite the fact I couldn't necessarily understand. It felt like they were speaking another language, which in many ways they were speaking another language. I mean, they may have been saying like English words, but their use, the combination is very. It's like it's almost like trying to read the code in the Matrix. You know, when you're first new, it just looks like a bunch of symbols flying down the screen. But if you hang out and watch it for a while, you just see blonde, brunette, redhead. That's kind of what I felt like. The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out, browse the entire collection, and when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces, make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10%. As a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show. You know, just like, okay, he's trying to gain power. Like there's blood, there's like this desire to gain power. There's like an aspect of jealousy. It feels like he's got Macbeth himself. Frances McDormand is his wife, Mrs. Macbeth, and she's kind of pushing him to gain this kind of power that seems to have been looked over and given to another actor, which is amazing. The king gives power to Malcolm, played by Harry Millings, he was in the, I think, Devil All the Time, which I appreciated. I like that movie. It's kind of divisive. I thought it was pretty brutal, but his performance as like this preacher guy, amazing. Like every time I see him in something, it's like, ooh, this is going to be good, because he's got a very unique look. He looks like inbred UK royalty. Like he has a look of like, man, your cousins are probably your parents or even closer family members. Like there is, not to disparage this guy, but he definitely has that kind of English, British kind of a look to him. So it works perfectly as kind of the guy who is given the kingdom, passing over Macbeth, Denzel Washington's character. But yeah, like I said, gorgeous, surreal look. Apparently the look is based on German Expressionism, which is not, I'd never studied film in my life, so maybe I'll go back and watch some German Expressionistic films to kind of see more imagery like this, because it's very dreamlike. Gorgeous, again, gorgeous looking. And when I saw that it was like 99% CG, I was like, they can do good CG. like they like as far as using it to be highly stylized like this is, almost to an extent there's scenes that are similar in some ways to like Sin City. Little bit. Sin City's definitely higher contrast, a lot more black and white in that one, where this one's got a lot of gray tones, but it lives in like this smoky, misty kind of universe where it's almost like everything takes place in the clouds. It is great. It is amazing. Every aspect of it. Like even like the take on what a witch's cauldron looks like, where instead of it being like an actual cauldron and they're mixing it with a stick, like would be the traditional kind of visual that you would conjure in your brain when thinking of witches making a witch's brew. This one, it becomes the floor of the room Macbeth is in, and you see these witches who act, and like the physical acting of this one actor that portrayed all three of these witches was amazing as well. But you see three of these witches in like the rafters of this room, and the room is all of a sudden like covered in this liquid, which is the brew, and they're like throwing their potion. It's great. Like every aspect of it is like I am watching a piece of art. And for it being the first solo mission, the first solo written and directed piece of work that Joel Coen has done, aside from his brother, the other Coen brother, I think it takes a step away from like the feel and aesthetic of Coen brothers films are very like you can they have a voice, they have a style. Where you can kind of by the characters that they do, by the writing, the language, you can kind of pick out a Coen Brothers film if you didn't know it. This, I would say, takes a step past that, takes a step away from that, and has a different feel all of its own, and makes me super excited to see what Joel Coen does next. Because it's a situation where like it's almost like he's gotten better. Like he like working with his brother was like doing like hardcore training for like decades, however long they'd been making movies, and now he's been able to take the weight vest off. He's able to strip all of that weight that was holding him back, potentially holding him back. I don't feel like I thought their collaboration was great pretty much all the way through. Ballad of Buster Scruggs was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. But it really feels like he's spreading his wings, as it were, and beginning to fly. Yeah. So I really enjoyed every aspect of this. And it's like it has that classic black and white feel, obviously, the classic kind of just aesthetic of an old school film. But in it is modern day acting, like performances that are like based in reality versus, a film that was done in like the 30s, up through almost like the 60s. They have like a very performative, like people are acting and performing as if they're still on a stage. It's very like heightened kind of performances, which modern day acting is far more grounded, far more realistic, and I think that's something that helps this movie from Denzel and Frances McDormand's perspective, bringing this movie, still saying the classic words, but in a style that is far more modern. Even like the scenes where people are moving, like the action scenes, are very modern day kind of movements in the acting. Even from the witches, like the kind of contorting that the witch does, and like almost mimicking a crow, which crows are a big symbol in this movie, to just the performances from the main actors, the side characters. There's a couple fight scenes which are felt very modern, like modern choreographed. The shots are definitely more modern. They're not as static as shots would be back in those days. So it takes that like classic black and white aesthetic and updates a few aspects of it, like the acting, the performances, some of the camera work, updates that with modern, and clearly updates the set design with modern day CG in a way where it feels like it feels like just they're working with amazing sets. Just gorgeous sets that were like built, but they're not. They were all fake, which is crazy. Which most movies would not do. Like, it would feel fake watching something that has like clear CG sets, and it doesn't at all feel like that. Maybe because it's black and white, they're able to make it look more believable despite it being CG. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. But yeah, again, there's a couple fights at the very end of this movie. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Macbeth story. So spoilers, obviously, I guess, for something that's been around for hundreds of years. But there's a couple fight scenes. Like, there's a fight scene where Macbeth is in kind of the main room where he's got his throne. I don't know what that room's called. But he's just kind of plopped on this throne where everything seems to be like his desire to become king has come to bite him in the ass, and things are starting to fall apart at the seams, and he's kind of plopped down kind of disparagingly on his throne, and a guy comes in to challenge him, and he's got a big sword, and Denzel doesn't have any swords, and it's this great, like, it reminds you how good Denzel is at, like, action scenes in general. Like, he has a smooth, slick, like, way of acting in action scenes that are, you get in like Man on Fire or Equalizer, where it's like he has the ability to be a badass. And even like there's moments where he gets angry and you're seeing shades of like Training Day from Denzel, but he has that ability to have this like slick, like just unconcerned when he's fighting, like despite the fact that he doesn't even have a sword. It's at no point do you feel that he thinks he's going to lose. Like, he has this confidence of like, okay, let me dispatch this guy with a sword real quick in this cool, slick way where it's like he's almost moody, and this guy is like beating this guy in this fight is like this is an afterthought. He's just getting out his anger and frustration of his plan going awry on this poor, unsuspecting knight that comes in to try and win the day. Great. And then there's this other battle scene where on a bridge, like it's kind of like a bridge. I think it's more like the wall of a castle, very narrow. Kind of, it looks like a bridge because it's, very misty and everything, but very narrow, high walls. So it's almost like a hallway fight scene that you would get in, like an Old Boy or the Raid movies, like some Asian, martial, like fight scene, like just kind of an epic kind of, but it's with swords and ends with like this, just kind of this flash beheading. Great little like action moments, because it took a while to get into this movie. At first I was afraid, then I was petrified, and then it kind of got me. It kind of just sucked in. I kind of just got to the point where it's like, I am not going to understand what they're going to say. I could spend like 3 to 4 hours trying to watch, rewind, just to try and pay attention to what they're saying and try to parse it in my head, try to break it down and be like, what is this sentence that they say? What is this paragraph that they said? What does that mean in modern day English? Trying to translate it on the fly. And I just had to come to the conclusion that's like, I'm not going to understand. I have to be okay with not understanding what most of these people are saying in this movie. And just, just watch their performances, pay attention to the other things. And even still, I was able to get a lot out of it, and I really appreciate it. I thought it was a beautiful film. I don't know. I mean, technically, it came out last year. I don't know if it would have been on my top 5, mainly because I don't understand most of what's going on. But as far as, like, candidates for best acting, Denzel and Francis, like, easily should be nominated. Whether they win or not, different question. But easily, the cinematography easily nominate, should win. I mean, visually, the visual effects categories of the Academy Awards should all just go to this film. Because despite the fact that it's not some big budget action superhero blockbuster where they have just as much CG, but it's done in, like, it's just looks like bad rubber people and cartoon stuff. Like, this tricked me. This worked at a level where I believed that the places they were and the sets that they were acting in were real, physical, tangible things and not just pixels. So on that level, I think it's the best CG by far. Cinematography easily. I mean, everything's framed gorgeously. It looks like a series. It looks like as if an artist did a series of work based on Macbeth, and then somehow all of those paintings came to life, is what this film feels like. It's just a series of gorgeous pieces of art that have come to life to tell the story. And, I think it's amazing. I think it's great. And I love the kind of the surreal feel to it. It's just so much of it. That's why I said just a little bit made me want to, like, I wish I understood Shakespeare more, and I would have gotten so much more. Easily would have been probably my favorite. I don't know what it cut out. Obviously, it's got to cut out a ton of stuff to be an hour and 45 minutes. I would assume the actual story is longer, but I really enjoyed it. I was surprised. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's like $5 a month. You could probably sign up for a free week. Tell you what, sign up for Apple TV Plus, get a free week trial, right? Say maybe you get COVID, whatever, you take a week off. Here's what you binge. You watch this movie. You watch The Tragedy of Macbeth. Then you binge Ted Lasso, right? There's 2 seasons of Ted Lasso. Binge those. Have a good time. Feel good about yourself. Kind of make your heart beat a little bit stronger. And then go and binge the 2 seasons of For All Mankind. Just amazing stuff that is on Apple TV Plus right now. And then, binge all that stuff. And then, when the next seasons come out of those shows, just sign up for another month. But yeah, definitely check it out. If you could see this, I would love to see this in a theater. I am hoping that at some point in the future, I would imagine that they will do re-releases of this film because it is so gorgeous. I would love to see this in like an IMAX. Just just giant, amazing, like visually. Anyway, check it out. The Tragedy of Macbeth. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.